Yep. Good morning. Coffee Conversations with Greg J is on Thursday morning, 22nd of September. How y'all doing? Long Beach Gives Day. We're broadcasting live from the Dream Creator Studio in Long Beach, California. That's what we do. And today is a day that the whole city, all the nonprofits and social impact organizations in the city get together and the people can donate or give to the cause that they love, and we would hope that you would support our efforts here as we create media, tell our stories, support media training, civic engagement. It's all about community, building community through media. That's what Dream Creator Studio is all about. Great show today. Got one of my favorite folks around. Don't get a chance to talk to him often. He's up there, breaking the mold of academia. That's what he's doing. It's the Academy for Media Arts he's founded, and he's going to tell us a lot about it. We're looking at the future of work as we come out of or recover out of the last couple of years pandemic. Learning is different, right? And if you recall, he came right as we were shut down to talk to us about, the difference in the schools now, what our young people are dealing with, having to have access to technology. How do they learn? How do they, the classroom experience is markedly different in these days and time. And so he's made some great, great, great strides. He's a heck of a musician. He's a very, very smart man, entrepreneurial in spirit, that's for sure, caring for the community, and just a good guy. Ladies and gentlemen, Dana Hammond's here. Good morning, my brother.
Morning, Greg. Thanks for having me again. It's always a joy to catch up with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look, we won't keep you long. We know you out there making things happen, and it's a hectic time in these days in the education field. Tell us a little bit about your school, your education facility.
Yeah, so our school is uh, uh, success really stems on the 20-year lead up from a program that we launched in the Crenshaw Lamert Park area, focused on game design, music production, and we partnered with the West Hamptons Community Development Corporation and offered the programming right inside of a low income apartment complex. And the concept was to find amazing talent that was just outside of like the traditional sports and entertainment industries. And we launched some pilot programs. Yeah, I'm a drummer and musician, so of course we started with drums to get the interest, and then we did some surveys, and then we started with music production and teaching kids how to write music, compose music, and the business of music, and then we went right into game design, and it was amazing. We found amazing 7 and 9 year olds who were on Maya, which is a 3D graphic design software, and ZBrush, and they were just creating content from character design to environmental artists to some VR work we were doing. So it was just remarkable. And that led us to launching the school 15, 20 years later. And during COVID, we were fortunate to find a facility and grow. And that's where we're sitting here now at 3rd and Fig at an amazing 52,000 square feet space that we have acquired. So we're really excited for our kids.
Wow, that's incredible. So you was in the metaverse before the metaverse.
Yeah, we were giving them that exposure of the pipeline to these industries.
They're very interesting. Now, do you find a lot of interest from the young people in these spaces?
Yeah, it's ironic that the if you watch the film The Social Dilemma, the documentary on Netflix,
Mhm,
a lot of the tech industry, they study human behavior,
mhm,
and the result of them studying human behavior is what pulls at people's emotions, and
mhm,
the cognitive skills and the psychological skills, and what motivates them to participate in whatever you want them to participate in. And so what I found is that the success of Snapchat and TikTok, and although it may live for like 2 days or a week, the kids are so hungry that they are self-guided. And so what I found is that the gravitate, being a facilitator of the learning, they already do that. The kids is what
Mhm.
make every artist, popular, every platform popular, every uh, sports game, esports even. They are finding ways to explore their creativity and get to content, and it's what we call that curiosity. We really, curiosity is a really big part of our expanded definition of success. And so what we've done is we created a project-based learning curriculum that is aligned to Common Core standards, your English, your math, your science. So of course you got to pass the SAT, the pre-SAT to get into a college. But the bigger conversation is, how is that used in real world, and how is that used in a career path?
Mhm.
And we're using their curiosity to drive the learning, as we serve as the educators, serve as a facilitator of it. And so it's being powerful. it,
Mhm.
it is it is it's so remarkable.
Mhm. Mhm. This is interesting. Now, do you find walk us through? I know the Unified School District, I guess, what's the word? Accredited you all to be a part of their system. Walk us through that process, and what does that exactly mean? Like how you attract students and teachers and all of that stuff.
Yeah, so we are an independent charter school. We are our
Mhm.
own local education agency. As an independent charter school, you have to write what's called a charter petition. That charter petition has to be defended, and it has to be accepted by Los Angeles Unified School District, who is the second largest school district here in out of the 50 states. So you have to defend it. You have to show that you have the capacity to run a school. Running a school, you have to meet the A through G requirements for college. You have to show their capacity to service your English learners, your students with individualized educational plan, your accommodations, your ability to run and manage an organization, as well as human resource management and hiring teachers, and your ability to show academic growth through your assessments that you have to give through Smarter Balance, which is coming down from the California Department of Education, as well as the California dashboard is really a school's report card that indicates how you're doing with attendance, how you're doing with academics, how you're doing with discipline. So it's a whole like robust, uh, really bureaucratic system that, had it not been for the 20 years, it goes back to when you say entrepreneur is whatever you want to test and your ideas. You have to start what I call a piloted version, and then you have to stick with that and scaffold that, and be prepared to do that for a minimum of 8 years.
Mhm.
And that's what we were able to do. And so LAUSD serves as our authorizer, and that's who we're accountable to, but we have autonomy.
Mhm.
And so in my seat as CEO, the biggest thing I have to make sure is that scholars are safe. Safety, safety, safety is the number one thing that will support a school's sustainability. Compliance is the second.
Mhm. Mhm.
Third is operations, and then fourth is academics. No, third is fiscal. Third is
Mhm.
fiscal, and then fourth is academics. So the reality, safety. If the kids are not safe, no one's coming to your school. So you don't even get to, compliance if no one's coming. And
Mhm.
so, again, us getting that petition was pivotal to our being able to do this model. And so we wrote all these creative things in our petition about how we were going to prepare scholars for the future work, and we got approved. The first time we didn't, the second time we did.
Mhm. Mhm.
Talking about
Mhm.
defending the model.
Right, right, right. Gotta keep going. Gotta keep pushing, no matter what.
Yeah.
Keep chopping. Yes, yes, yes. So what are the biggest challenges you're facing now? I mean, as we recover, I'm seeing on the news, LAUSD's got their hands full. Trying to get organized, trying to get the children into the classrooms, and all of that. What are the biggest challenges your academy is facing?
The biggest challenge is the trauma in our community. That
Mhm.
is not anything new, and we front loaded that with this big move. We partnered with the Pepperdine University Urban Initiative 2.0. We have a full time psychologist in our health and wellness center.
Wow.
Today, actually, we're going to an event. You text me, and I want to squeeze this in, but I'm going to an event with scholars to a Future of Entrepreneurs event.
Mhm.
So they could see other minority entrepreneurs from Atlanta and DC. They'll be at this event. A couple of other schools are going. and it has been the self-esteem. Our model is based in culture driving the learning, right? And so if
Mhm,
we could get the mind and the self-efficacy and the growth mindset, get our scholars curious, that will drive academic growth. And
mhm,
that has been our key pivotal niche is culture drives the learning. And so I like to say in our new facility, bigger than it being a new facility, we're giving white glove service. So we have a full-time chef. We're cooking real food. We got security to wear suits, black suits, similar to like the Beverly Hills Hotel or the Peninsula or the high-end hotels. Our
yeah,
scholars are wearing shirt and tie every day.
right,
So it's just an aesthetic where we give that high quality to scholars, where we tap into that they're not only worth it, but they deserve it, and then we
mhm,
can reach for that high expectation. And it's been powerful.
mhm, mhm. Wow, sounds nice. Look, I wanna enroll.
Hey, the food is the kids are loving the food. It's crazy. And some kids don't even the simple thing that you may think food
Mhm,
to support the social emotional learning, because that's what we do. It starts with the food, because we
mhm,
found a lot of scholars are not eating breakfast, they're eating Takis, they're eating chips. So when we first started the first 2 weeks of school, scholars didn't really want to eat the
mhm.
pancakes and the eggs and the oatmeal and the fruit that we were serving, and now they cannot keep their hands off of it.
Sure,
That
sure.
supports the classroom emotional standpoint, where they're not sluggish after lunch and they
Mhm,
have the energy to focus,
mhm,
and that plays right into the behavior part, just having cooked food.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, nutrition is everything,
100%.
Wow, wow,
I'm
that's
sorry,
it.
Greg. If I go on a tangent, I'm real full right
No,
now.
no, this is good stuff. This is what, we're just chopping it up here, and we are also mindful of your schedule too. So, it's all good. It's all good. This
Okay,
is
cool.
great, great, great. I'm very proud of you, Dana. I'll just take this moment to say that, I'm very proud of the work that you've done. And, even when you don't think folks are watching, I know I am. I see you and wow, great, great, great accomplishments that you've done here. What is the future of work? I mean, we're talking about it now. You listen every day in our news media and even employers are having a hard time getting folks back into the office or back into the workplace. And then, even then, the workplace and the way we do work is fundamentally changed. What is the future of work? From your perspective, and how do you prepare the scholars for what is changing right before our very eyes on a daily basis?
Yeah, I think the future of work is the ability to solve big global problems.
Mhm.
And the way to be able to do that is to align your skills and interests to an academic and career pathway. I
Mhm,
think that's where we really got away from that with project-based learning. Is not anything new.
mhm,
If we uh, in my space in education, I believe that if scholars can build an academic career model based on what their interests are,
mhm,
genuine interest in what they're good at, and tapping into what are those things that they are interested in, what are those skills, what are those attributes, what do those things look like that they're interested in. I don't care if you like, I keep saying it, I don't care if you like to bake cookies. If you look
mhm,
at a company like Sprinkles brand, their product, their marketing has people lining up to at an ATM to get cupcakes, and red velvet cupcakes and chocolate cupcakes has been around forever. And so what makes that happen? And it's like, how do you get people excited about cupcakes? And I
mhm,
think if we tapped into building academic models around individuals' gifts and skills that they're good at, then that leads to them becoming lifelong learners and belief that they could solve real world problems, whether it be climate change, whether it be homelessness, whether it be the economic divide, whether it be that uh, 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 water crisis, and that's just nationally. When we start talking globally, is how do you solve these big problems with climate change and water and human trafficking? It's just not media arts, but just having the confidence and thinking beyond a job and a paycheck. If you can have and put people on that path, then it will open up the opportunities of of mental capacity to say that I belong at the table too, and my ideas do matter. And so I think it starts with that self discovery. That, again, it goes back to the growth mindset, that self efficacy, that advocating for yourself, that self esteem building, that leads to, like, yeah, here are my ideas. Here's how I see solving this problem with my skill set. And I think when we start, I don't know, I think, but our data is showing when we start getting kids to think in those terms, then if you're graded hair, then now we could have the conversation with you about owning salons, not just any salon on your local block in your local community, but global salons, and having 20 and 30 salons across all 50 states, and then go global. So then maybe you can be the next, Caroline's daughter, or the next, Madam CJ Walker, or any of those types. So it's not far away. But with mentorship, is what we're doing is, like, one of our scholars has a mentorship with a Black business salon owner here in downtown, and the layers that she gets exposed to, it's just phenomenal. One of the layers I love is no cell phones on the floor. The cell phone is a big problem in schools, and so teaching time and place. Now you go into an internship that's paid, that you're dealing with these high-end clients, no cell phones on the floor. Now you understand time and place, where it's applicable in a job, in the workplace, that is directly tied to your economic advancement. So when I say future work, I believe it starts with self-discovery. I say it starts with that being aligned to build an academic model that's aligned to what you're good at, and then using that to solve big problems.
This is really, really great, profound, right? As you speak, I love your global perspective, and I'd like to just ask, how do you see forward thinking, right? How can we build bridges? We're about building bridges of music, arts, and culture with Africa and African Americans. How can your education model tie into, what's happening in Africa? Or would you be interested in linking up with educational institutions in Western, Southern, Eastern Africa?
Yeah, I definitely would be interested. We just hired a biology teacher from Ghana,
Mm,
and the uniqueness of it was, he was an orphan, and where his friends in the orphan, he lost his mom, and
mm,
where his friends in the orphanage, he lost his mom like at 7 or 8, and where his friends in the orphanage was asking for, CDs or technology, he was asking for books. So
mm,
they started giving him books, and they were giving him college level biology books because he loved science.
mm,
So he was reading those books. Long story short, by the time he got to high school, he tested out of all the high school biology and chemistry and physics, and he was taking math, those courses at the college level in high school. And then when he started his first 2 years of college, he was a pre-med student, all from just
wow.
reading. So this is a model, and he came from, again, that self-esteem, that confidence that made him tie and find his way into biology. I'll be definitely interested. I think our scholars in our community, culturally, there's a huge gap in not really understanding, like, the significance of where we come from in our ancestors and our heritage. And most people, you think, they think it's for Black History Month, or you're supposed to be, neo soul or whatever. But no, this is, if you look across other cultures, they can really have a historical view of a
Yeah.
100 years and 50 years, and there's an esteem. I mean,
Yeah.
I know about the Armenian genocide, like, just because of the people I've hired who've educated me, and I was,
Mhm.
and the honor in which they wear, how much they've overcome, is just remarkable. And so,
Mhm.
yes, it is to tap into that innovative spirit, and understanding our heritage as Black and brown folks, is huge. So, and it just can't live on Black Panther movie screens. It
Mhm.
has to
Mhm.
be. That movie was so inspirational in that it tapped into the medical technology, art, and music. But
Mhm.
it's like, but I believe that us understanding who we are, and we hear it, but I don't think we hear it.
Mhm.
And I don't think it necessarily has to only come from the successful, hip hop rappers who are 50 now, who's had a high level of success. I think it should come from regular people in our community.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I agree 100%. Describe what media arts is, are. What are the media arts?
Yeah, we coined that phrase like, so I was working in commercials and I had
Mm,
booked a Pepsi ad as a musician. And I went to my agent and I said, "What is this new media?" And at the time, my agent was like, "Oh, they're gonna start running your commercial on the internet." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." And it wasn't a lot of money in my residuals, but then took it back to my team. I said, what do you guys think about this new media thing?" And then they were like, "We landed on pretty soon. Everything's gonna be in one place."
mhm,
And lo and behold, like we wasn't like trying to be rocket scientists, but we were like, it's gonna at the time, it was like that on the beginning stages where like graffiti art was getting into the museums, and it was like the cross pollination of art, street art, museum art, and music, and then even furniture and design. And so uh, we coined that phrase based on everything would be under one umbrella. And lo and behold, that's how we see it. Media arts is where you have graphic designers, music, you have VR, we have virtual reality, augmented reality, you have AI, you have music composition, you have um, uh, now metaverse and web 2 like all the different web design, you have all that in under one roof. And then it branched over into the automobile industry, where guys like Elon Musk figured out the infrastructure for his Tesla brand,
mhm,
that is the new Apple, I believe, with the branding of it, and how that is merged into renewable energy.
mhm,
And that has how that's merged into new jobs and platforms with his factories in terms of
mhm,
parts for automobile industry and solar panels. So we see media arts as cloud computing. We see media arts as
mhm,
a the 21st century skill, whether it be cloud computing, whether it be computer science, whether it be music composition, whether it be all those things I just said, as skills based training. And the media arts is the vehicle that the 21st century that you need in the industry, because of how fast the technology has infiltrated every industry and made us all closer. So that's
mhm.
how we see. That was a big uh, thing, but that's how we see media arts.
Sure, sure. It ties into the next question. This conversation among educators. Um, so you have STEM programs, and then there's a lot of support in the community. People are trying to, generate donations so that they can create STEM programs or support STEM programs. But then there's an advocacy that says, well, you need to add arts to that acronym, and now it's STEAM. Arts is part of science and technology. Do you hear that same discussion, that debate in your circles, and what's your perspective?
Yeah, I think it's limiting. I think if you say STEAM, I think if you say STEM, I think those are limiting. It doesn't allow for that interdisciplinary skill set
Mhm,
that we're seeing was happening. When we say media arts, we expand the conversation to the medical field.
mhm,
You expand the conversation to aerospace, or you expand the conversation to building a cookie company, or
mhm,
building you want to wear socks. That was a beautiful part of what I saw with uh, the Nipsey Hussle movement in the Crenshaw area, the Vector 90. When I was working in the Crenshaw area, he partnered with Karen Civil, who was uh, instrumental in making his store a technology store with fashion.
mhm,
And through you running a QR code or a SKU or whatever the device was on the t-shirt would pop up the music. The idea of 21st century skill is not limited to these branches. Media
mhm.
STEM falls under media arts. Yes, STEAM falls under media arts. And then I even heard stream, right? ST with the R in it, because now we're in a streaming model.
Wow.
We're in this non-ownership model where the ride sharing, right?
Mhm,
Everything is that. So if we think of it on a on if we on a macro level, I
mhm,
believe we see the multi-layered view and I believe it's going to create for more opportunity for innovation. And that's the idea. It's like the raw ingredients, how we see it is media arts, and then the kids, us being the facilitator, they take it and they take the more raw ingredients and make, a cake, or make a pizza, or make, I'm just using that analogy. They take that raw ingredients to create something that is aligned to their skill set in the industry that they want to be in.
Mhm. What's the most effective way to inspire the young people? Because I know there's a lot out here going against them, and um, man, I know I'm left wondering right now, what kind of support your scholars get at home. Sometimes you might be in a great environment like the Academy for Media Arts, but then when you get home, people aren't really supportive because they don't know about it. They might not have the education levels to understand. There might be, what substance abuse or whatever life, you know what I mean, happening inside of their homes, and that could be a hindrance to their inspiration, right? To do the best to live it to their fullest potential. What's the strongest weapon of inspiration that you have?
I believe the strongest weapon is exposure.
Mhm,
And we kind of accidentally stumbled on that during COVID.
mhm,
We're one-to-one Mac computers, right?
mhm,
And in my mind, as a creative, we're one-on-one Mac because to do our program, we can't do it with Google Chromebooks. I'm sorry, we're doing industry level software.
mhm,
Greg, it's the exposure level that when our kids were shut in the house, they used the softwares to start creating and finding other kids, other softwares that we wasn't even using, and downloading it and creating, whether it be fashion designs, music, and they took it further.
mhm,
And I just sat there in awe because they were stuck in the house. They were able, because they had a device that was quality enough for them to work at the multimedia level. They took it and ran with it.
mhm,
Not only that, the computer was also that computer kept them tied in because we were also on Slack. So then
mhm,
I was doing Slack challenges because because some of my top scholars, they just went away. And
mhm,
so we would do Cash App Slack challenges, put up a video or a Wall Street Journal article, 20 minutes, write a paragraph about it, $75, $30. And that kept us connected. But I couldn't do that with a Google Chromebook. So what I'm saying is the exposure, and that's just why we started high school, is
mhm,
to say your adult life is starting now, and
mhm,
you may be experiencing some extraordinary circumstances, but we're gonna give you exposure that if you're talented in broadcasting, we're going to connect you to all the players,
mhm.
and you're going to start making money now and building your network and a pipeline to start paying rent if you have to in ninth and
Nice.
10th grade. And so I believe the ability for scholars to have exposure for those who are hungry though as well, right? So
Mhm,
what we
mhm,
found is that when scholars have those extraordinary circumstances, they tend to be a lot more not your average scholar. They tend to
mhm,
have to raise themselves a little faster. They do have challenges socially, emotionally. So you plug them into the psychologist, the counselor. Once they see that you really care and acknowledge that part, and then give them again. I call it the white glove service.
mhm,
Like Greg, it's all so the motto is exposure, but not exposure to talking and preaching. It's the white glove service, similar to what the internet does. So we figured out how to compete with the internet, and that's
mhm.
that's been the magic. Compete with the strip club culture, compete with all the over sexualization culture, all this
Right.
craziness, the wild wild west on the internet. Expose them to that, the California club, the Jonathan's club, the Soho House.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So
I go
wait,
on, but that's how.
wait a minute. You see the strip club culture like I do. I thought I was the only one out here.
It's in your face every day. I mean, you cannot see it.
It's crazy, man. It's like, okay, what are we doing?
It's just, hey,
Oh man. What's your role in the march towards social justice?
I think my role in this is to tell my story and have others tell their story.
Mhm.
So that as the community, we have this idea that if we collectively see where the connections are in our stories, we have empathy towards each other, and that way we can empower each other.
Mhm.
So no one's has a trophy on trauma. The only trophy on trauma is to understand everyone has it and lead with empathy. That way we could be a part of collectively designing solutions.
Mhm.
And so I believe that that's my role, is being as transparent as possible with sharing my story and igniting and inspiring people to share their story and see how we're more similar than different. Now, that sounds cliches, but that's just at the root of it. I've seen uh, that was inspiring me because it's hard. It's
Mhm.
my last name is Hammond, not Christ. So I'm
Mhm.
very clear as to what I'm focused on and what my niche is. But I believe my charge is to serve as inspiration to jump out there and believe you can solve big ideas.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, solve big problems.
Big problem, sure. Are you still, playing now? You're a musician at the
I haven't.
bar?
We have a piano here, and I felt like playing the piano this morning, and I was playing Stella by Starlight and Giant Steps. Those are like few jazz standards I know how to play piano, but I haven't touched the drums in almost 12 months, and it's been
What?
hard. So I
What?
mean, I miss my community at West Angeles. I still go to church, but
Yeah.
I wish I was. I'm gonna be back on the drums on the stage soon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, because y'all, Mr. Hammond is dynamite on those skins. That's what I remember. I can't remember where we were, and I just happened to be standing pretty much right next to you, and I think it might have been I was singing in the choir, and you was kind of like, "Hey, this guy right here is the truth." Wow. Okay. Well, you got to get back to your craft because that's the foundation of it all. Yeah.
It is, but we are doing a partnership with Heart of LA.
Mhm.
They're part of the Youth Orchestra Los Angeles,
Yeah.
and they have a like amazing performance program. And I find my ways to get to drums and live music, and so we have a drum and percussion program here with some world drummers that play in Lamert Park and other
Mhm.
places. So I love different genres of music. So I play drum set, but I like
Mhm.
playing djembes and learning how to play djembes and those other styles. But I always make my way to find drums. I got drums in my office, so there's drums around this campus. So I find my way to drums every now and again.
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna have to get you over to Africa with us here because those drums hit different over there, brother.
God, it's a whole just from the building of them. It's
Yeah,
a spiritual connection. It's deep.
yeah, 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 yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, look, Dana, we know you got to run to your conference, represent us fully there. That I'm so
Thank you.
proud of you. The Academy of Media Arts. What's the way to get a hold of you?
Listen, you could come and look us up on our website. Of course, Instagram,
Mhm.
AMA Media Arts. I believe that's what it is.
Mhm.
You could always call us 424 You could call us all at all, at that number, or our office number is our second office number is 323-903-5927. And we're located downtown, 345
Mhm.
South Figueroa, right across the street from the Biltmore Hotel, right across the street from, right around the corner from the Walt Disney Center and the Broad Museum and the Mocha Museum.
Oh, you're right in that
345.
area, right there by the Colburn School.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
We're right around the corner from Grand, right there on Third and Fig, right across the street from the it's used to call the Westin. I think it's the Biltmore,
Mhm.
next to the LA Grand Hotel. So
Mhm.
we're
Mhm.
here. This was a former Chinese international school, and our kids
Mhm.
have opportunity to get a private school facility. And
Wow.
we're one as a 4-year school. If you have scholars, they're interested in coming. We're in our enrollment season,
Mhm.
ninth through 12th grade. You can reach out to us at 424-253-8984, or reach out to us on our website.
Now, are there special? prerequisites that the children need to have to come to your school? What's
We
the
are a public school, and
okay?
so we do have an enrollment process. We have an orientation, and we have a few interviews. The biggest part is we got to make sure that we can serve, because we're still a new school. We got
Mhm.
to make sure we can serve your scholars' needs. And once we are able to assess that, then we go through our interview process, and then you will be considered, as long as we don't have a waiting list. We have our first graduating class, 2024. Our scholars who, we survived a pandemic. Our second year, we were right in the pandemic. So we launched 2019, and in 2020, boom, pandemic hit. And so we survived. So that lets you know the model is powerful and it does work. And we have a community of parents who really believe. And that's what it takes when you start talking about that community. So, yeah, please reach out to us and let us know on Instagram. We're really on Instagram and also Facebook. So, yeah, we're really excited about
Okay,
this
we're gonna
opportunity.
endeavor to put all that in the chat here so y'all can get it. But Academy for Media Arts, Los Angeles, downtown LA. Dana Hammond doing it. Now, what is it? The CEO or principal or supervisor? What's the headmaster?
And
What's
as an
the
entrepreneur, I'm everything. I'm the CEO, technically.
okay, all
I'm
right.
technically the CEO. So we are really excited about our donors. And
Mhm,
there's a piece on Do Be Nice that they did on us with the
mhm,
support of our gracious angels of donors. Greg and Jody Parman have been supporting us for the last 12 to 14 years. And
mhm,
so, yeah, I serve as the CEO. I go and I make things like the building happen and raise the
mhm.
money for technology
Yeah.
that we need, and also serve as the face in terms of recruiting. And
Mhm.
now we're doing more partnerships with companies and universities. So I'm the CEO. We expanded, Greg. I have 20 employees. 20
Wow.
employees, Greg. That means 20 more problems. But I
Right.
mean, we're able to manage it. We're managing it well. It's truly, I'm excited to go to work. Every day is a Friday.
Mhm,
And more
mhm,
exciting is to see the stories and see the vision in the kids. And
mhm.
so that's my role, CEO. And then we have a principal, we have an interim principal, Miss Mary Williams. We have an assistant principal now, and then we have an operations director. So I have an executive staff that is servicing as my middle management, because I don't know how much longer I could be getting up. I don't know how much longer I could get up at 3 a.m. I'm a young man, but I need to manage how much I can still get some sleep. But I'm
Yes,
up at
brother.
3:30 every morning, and that's what this takes. So it's
Wow.
exciting.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, you're doing a great work and, powered by the divine. So, there it
100%.
is, just roll it and it'll all be done. I'm so proud of you. I'm gonna call you someday and I would love to come and do a tour there and
Greg, you got
share
to come
some
see it.
concepts with you. See if you can put
Yeah,
your secret sauce on it.
sure. I live here, Greg, so just come by. I'm here to 6 p.m. every night.
Right, right. There you go. Okay. Good stuff. All right, y'all. Dana Hammond, he's the founder and CEO of the Academy for Media Arts. He's got a lot, as you've heard, to say about the future of work. He's on the leading edge of educational, academic innovation and really helping our young people in these uh, different days and time. I won't say strenuous. Let's just call them different. Things are different. Our babies are growing up in a interesting world right now. It was up to the
Yeah.
educators to help us out and get promote some really great, well-rounded citizens. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dana.
Thanks for having me, Greg. Appreciate it.
All right. Yes,
I
yes.
take
Peace and
Bye.
blessings. You can get this broadcast on Coffee Conversations with Greg J, the Facebook page, also Beach City Perspective, Beach City Radio, also over on beachcityradio.com, beachcityradio.com. We're going to repurpose the audio also, put that out there as podcast, wherever you get your favorite podcast. Just go out there and Google us. We're on iHeart, Spotify, Google, Apple, just wherever, just put it in there. Coffee Conversations with Greg J. You see a couple of great episodes here. There's how Dana Hammond was today. That was really awesome. And then, last week we had a reporter live from Manchester, England, a reporter from the only Black newspaper in England in the United Kingdom, and we were talking about the Black community and the monarchy, what it means, after the Queen passed away. We're watching all of the hoopla that was going on here, and going on over there on via television, and what were the folks saying in the barber shops and the community centers and churches. We got a great conversation there. Talked to Sandra Evers Manley of the Black Hollywood Education and Resource Center, and she was talking about telling our own stories through performing arts and the content that we put out across these stages. It was great conversation there, and we're going to keep it going, y'all. Just keep supporting us. We're going to grow. We're growing, growing, growing. I think we'll be able to unveil our EUR web presence hopefully today or tomorrow. And then you'll be able to go over to that respected website and see our presentations. Today is Long Beach Gives Day. We broadcast from the Dream Creator Studio here in Long Beach, California. And we'd love to see your support. The link to the page is inside of the chat. You can see that. Click that if you'd like to support us as we go about the work of civic engagement, building media through building community through media, and all of the work that we're doing out here. We're creating and preserving, community cultural institutions. There's so much going on, advocating for arts and culture on a global spectrum. And as you could see, just a taste of it through our interviews here on Coffee Conversations with Greg J. But if you dig deeper across our platforms, you can see the work that we're about. We're all about building community. That's what it is. Lifting as we climb. All right, y'all. I do believe that's all we have for today. Like I said, Long Beach Gives Day. Click that link. Could love your help there. And look out for more fantastic shows, Coffee Conversations with Greg J, and some announcements. We're getting ready to go to Ghana, and love for you to travel with us. And so you'll be hearing about that in the coming days. All right, y'all. Just remember, love one another. Love one another. Love one another. Peace and blessings.